Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Wednesday Westside Wellbeing with myself, Jamie from Coaches for Change. So today we are going to be focusing on mobility and also creating a little bit of a sweat. So we're going to start with the first portion. We're going to go into our mobility. So we're going to open up the stance nice and wide, just outside shoulder width apart. And from here, we're going to bring the hands onto the hips and then just carefully start to fold forward through the torso, making sure that we're keeping the torso nice and level, like it's sandwiched between two planes of glass, so we can start to stretch into the hamstrings. Because we've got that stance nice and wide, we're getting a little bit of a stretch into the adductors as well that run on the inside of the thighs. And from here, we're just going to carefully lift it all the way back up. And we're going to bend down into one knee. So just starting to stretch through the adductor on the straight leg. You're going to start to feel some stretch into the calf as well through that bent leg. And from here, we're going to come back into the center and just slowly switch it over to the other side. Next, we're going to come back into the center. From here, we're going to bring that stance hip width apart. And again, we're going to go forward through the hips, keeping that torso nice and level. So we're just going to start to hinge forward the hips, slide the hands down the legs, or hold them out straight out at shoulder height if you wish to, if you feel like it's going to allow you to keep that torso that little bit straighter. Find that range just before where you feel like the torso and the spine is going to start to round. So we can really get a nice stretch into the hamstrings, run down the back of the thighs. And we're going to carefully elevate ourselves back up. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to take a seat down onto the mat. We're going to bring the soles of our feet together. Take hold of the inside of the ankles and just start to apply a little bit of pressure through the inside of the legs if you wish to. And so just starting to open up through the hips in that internal plane of movement. So stretching out through the hip flexors into the adductors a little bit as well, still on the inside of the thighs. And we're going to bring the knees together, give ourselves a little bit of a squeeze and really elevate the tiptoes up off the floor. Lovely stuff. Nice. So from here, we're going to rotate ourselves so we are lying down, flat on the mat, on the ground, or wherever you may be doing your workout today with us. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it into more mobility movements, but we're going to add a little bit more movement into these ones. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into some leg circles. So you're going to lift the legs straight up to 90. From there, you're going to rotate outwards from the hips at the top, roll all the way through the hips, and then carefully elevate back up through 90. So really starting to work into that hip mobility, rolling through the hip joint and the hip flexor muscle, taking it nice and wide through the adductors on the inside of the thighs. And again, if you want to rest the heels for a little moment and then take it into your next repetition, because this is going to ask quite a lot of the base of your core as well, so into your transverse abdominals. So we're going to lift up to 90, and from here we're going to slide the hands up to the legs, really lifting the shoulders off the ground. So again, just really stretching into the hamstrings here, contracting back into those hip flexors, so really point the toes down towards your face. You're lengthening into the calves as well. And this time from here we're going to remove the hands. We're going to take our leg circles in the opposite direction, so we're going to lower the legs down towards the floor, roll out through the hips from the bottom and bring it all the way up. Take a little pause at the top and lower the legs all the way down roll the legs out, and back up. Lovely stuff. We're just going to go for one more of these. We'll take the legs down, out, up, and around. Lovely stuff. Nice. Feel free to take behind the knees. Give yourself a little squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. It says we're going to extend the legs back up to 90. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to allow that right leg to fall down towards the floor. And again, don't worry if you can't keep it straight, if it needs to come down a little bit. Just find that range that works for you through that left hip. And then again, if you need to bend in through the opposite knee, just to release that tension a little bit as we stretch into that hip. And we're going to lift that leg back up to 90, and we'll lower the other leg down towards the floor. I'm going to use more of a reduced angle this time as I'm a bit close to the wall. But again, if you want to bend in through that spare leg just to take a little bit of the tension away from the hamstring, as you open up into that opposite hip. And we're going to bring both knees back into the centre, and from here we're going to go into our static butterfly that we did a moment ago, but sitting up. This time we do it lying down, so try and bring the soles of the feet together. Take hold of the inside of your ankles, and from there just make sure you take a few nice big inhales, a few nice big exhales. And just open up into the base of the pelvis again. So from here, we're going to place the soles of the feet back onto the floor, lengthen the legs straight back out. We're going to bring the left knee up towards the torso, and you're going to take your right hand to the outside of that left knee, and carefully start to roll over onto the side. So trying to keep the torso nice and flat, so taking that left arm back behind you, trying to keep the hips nice and stacked on top of one another, just so we can open up into the base of the back. So into that lumbar spine, a little bit into the centre of the spine as well. Stretching through the glutes. And we're just going to carefully roll back into the centre. We'll straighten the left leg out. Bring that right knee up. Take that left hand onto the outside of the right knee, and then carefully start to roll and stack the hips on top of each other. Again, trying to keep the shoulders as flat as you can across the floor. So you can give that nice stretch through the glute, and again through the lumbar into the centre, so that thorax spine area. And again, just make sure you continue to breathe. Nice big inhales, nice big exhales, as you squeeze that little bit deeper into that stretch. Lovely stuff, everyone. As we're carefully going to sit ourselves up, and from here we're going to put a slight bend into the knees, so the heels are coming onto the ground. You're going to reach forward, take hold of those tiptoes. See if you can really lengthen out through that spine and squeeze the toes in towards your shins. Again, really get a nice lengthen through that spine, getting a little bit of a stretch through the Achilles here as well. It runs into the back of the ankles. Nice. We're going to release. We're going to straighten one leg out, so my left leg's gone nice and straight, and then we're really going to hook the forearms around that right leg and pull it right in towards that torso as much as you can. Again, trying to keep that spine nice and tall, nice and level. And we'll release the right leg, lengthen it straight out. Pull that left leg in, and again, really wrap it around through the forearms, allowing you to lift that foot slightly off the ground, keeping that spine nice and straight. And we're going to lengthen it back out again from there. And from here we can carefully rotate ourselves around. So we come onto the knees. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the hands shoulder width apart. We're going to lie ourselves down onto the ground. And from all that we're going to do here is just push through the hands slightly, lift the torso, and just try and lengthen through that spine. So we can really start to stretch into the hip flexors in the front of the hips. Carefully lower yourself back down. Release that tension for a moment. And then carefully squeeze yourself back up. And we're going to go one more time. So we're going to carefully lower ourselves all the way back down. And then carefully start to squeeze your way all the way back up. And from there we're going to push the hips backwards, come into somewhat of a child's pose for a moment, just so we can open up the base of the back. Lovely stuff, and we carefully elevate ourselves up. If you want to take a little bit of water on board, feel free to do so. As from here, we're going to mobilise into the upper body a little bit. So I'm going to bring it back onto the feet, but you can do this sitting down if you wish to. So we're just going to take one arm across the torso. Take that spare arm just above the elbow joint and just start to squeeze that arm, so that bicep in towards that chest. And we're also going to start to work into the neck here. So we're going to turn the head towards the hand to start with. So we're opening up through that neck. And then we're going to rotate it just over that shoulder. So we're just getting that little bit of flexion and extension in that rotational plane of movement through the neck. We're just going to go for 3, for 2, and for 1. Nice. Swing it out a little bit. We're going to take the opposite arm across the torso. Take that spare hand above that elbow joint. Again, really stretching out the back and the side of the shoulder here, so your rear down and your side down. And then we're going to start to turn the head towards the hand and then carefully rotate it back the other way. And just slowly working the head from right to left. And we're just going to go 3 more from here. So for 3, for 2, and for 1. Lovely stuff. Nice. Drop the hands down. We're going to start to roll through the shoulders. So we're just going to roll them all the way back. And then again, really allow the torso to move with the shoulders a little bit here if you wish to. We're going to go 3 more rotations backwards. And from there, we're going to start to roll the shoulders forwards this time. Again, really lifting up through the shoulder blades, through those trapezius muscles, and rolling through that shoulder joint. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Lovely stuff, very nice. So from here, we're going to take the hand and place it straight behind our head into that center line of the spine if we can. Take that spare elbow, place it behind the elbow. Make sure the head is nice and lifted here, so your arm isn't forcing your head forward. So we're getting that nice deep stretch through the tricep, down the back of the arm. And we'll just hold for 3, 2, and 1. Lovely stuff. Get a little bit of a swing out before we switch to the other side. So we'll take the opposite arm back behind us, hand into that center line of the spine, or as close as you can get it, and then just start to squeeze through the elbow with that spare hand stretching into that tricep. For 3, 2, and 1. Lovely stuff. Very nice. Give it a little swing out. And again, feel free to take a little bit of water on board as well if you wish to. So from here, we're going to continue the mobility, but we're going to start working into the workout at the same time. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to take a nice wide stance outside of shoulder width apart. And from here, We're going to drop the hip down, the knee down, sorry, from the hips to one side, as we did in the stretch to start with. But from here, you're then going to transition straight over to the other side. We bring it back up into the center. We lower down into that knee. And then from there, we work and slide it over to the other side. And we elevate back into the center. And again, nice, just finding that nice rhythm through that movement. Really working into the hips here, into the hamstrings, the adductors, starting to get some activation into the glute minimus as well, that runs around the base of the back and into the side of the pelvis. Lovely stuff. We're just going to go one more on this side. So we'll bring it back up into the center. Lovely stuff. Just take a little moment in this stance. Because from here, we're going to do the same movement, but in the opposite direction. So this time we're going to lower down into that opposite knee, slide ourselves across, and then elevate back into the center. Nice, we lower down to the one side, slide ourselves across, and then elevate back into the center. Nice and steady, nice and controlled, just finding that rhythm that works for you. This is going to be a bit of a test for the hamstrings as well. Lovely stuff. So from here, our next repetition will be our last one of this movement. So we drop that knee, slide it across the base of that movement, and elevate it back up. Lovely stuff, very nice. So from here, we're going to turn the toes in, and we're going to come just outside shoulder width apart. As from here, we're going to turn the feet out at 45-degree angles, and we're going to go down into a sumo squat. So we're going to lower the hips down into the base of that movement. And again, feel free to bring the elbows into the side of the knees. And again, I appreciate I've taken this pretty low, so just find that range that works for you. And we're just going to stay in here for a moment, really opening up through the hips, testing those hip flexors. And we're going to elevate all the way back up. Nice, now we're just going to do some repetitions in that movement. So we're going to sink the hips down, lift the hips up. Sink the hips down, lift the hips up. Nicely taking it more into a squat here. But again, that stance is just outside shoulder width apart. So we're working into the hamstrings, the quads, the adductors. Again, those hips are still moving and working through the hip flexor primarily. Really making sure that we're squeezing the glutes at the top end. So we're getting that glute activation in, and it's going to take the pressure away from the lower back as well. We're going to go for 4 more. 4, 4. 4, 3. 4, 2. And 4, 1. Lovely stuff, very nice. Take a little moment, take a little bit of water on board. We've done quite a lot of consistent movement through there, through that mobility section. So rehydrate. Before we continue into that next phase. So from here, what we are going to do is we're going to go into some narrow squats this time. So still keeping it with the legs. This is really going to be working through the knee and the hip joints, into the ankle joints as well as the supporting muscles. So stance is going to come nice and narrow, hip width apart. Arms are going to come out in front of us. And from there, you're just going to start to work your way down into the base of that squat. Trying to take it as low as you can, trying to keep that torso nice and straight. You're going to find a little bit more restricted movement here because the legs are nice and close together. So really working into the quads here, but primarily the outside of the quads. Really testing the base of the calves as well, and that Achilles tendon. Lovely stuff, everyone. Nice. Let's keep that there. We're going to go 5 more. 4, 5. 4, 4. 4, 3. Good. 4, 2. And 4, 1. Lovely stuff, alright, nice. So from here, we're going to take it back down onto the mat. So again, today's all about mobility and sweat, so you should start increasing that heart rate a little bit, starting to get a little bit warmer, starting to feel that sweat. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go into a glute sequence. Yes, they tend to get neglected by a lot of people. If you're going to be doing this workout today, not in these next several minutes. So to start with, we're going to start with some glute drives or glute bridges. So we'll bring the soles of the feet nice and flat on the floor, good several inches away from the base of the glutes. Hands are going to come down by the side. And from here, what I want you to do is just drive your hips straight up towards the ceiling, squeeze into the glute muscles, and then lower it back down. Nice and steady, nice and controlled. You don't need to rush through these repetitions by really driving up through the hips and squeezing into the glutes and just pausing for a moment or two at the top. That's really going to integrate into the hamstring muscles as well as the glutes. And if anyone wants a little bit of an extra challenge, if you elevate your arms straight up to 90 degrees, all that movement and power has to come through the hips and the glutes because we can't press down the arms into the floor. And we're just going to go for 5. And again, if the arms are elevated and it feels a little bit too much, bring them back down, no problem. For 4, you could alternate between repetitions, so you could bring the arms back up. For 3, 4, 2, nice, last repetition, and 4, 1. Lovely stuff, very nice from there. Take hold of the knees, bring them into the torso, lift the chin into the chest if you wish to, so you can just open up through the lower back and stretch the hamstrings a little bit in that contracted position. Because from here we're going to bring it onto our sides. So we're going to lean onto the forearm and try and make sure we keep that rib cage nice and elevated. That lower leg is just going to come into that folded bent position behind us or underneath us. You're going to lift, I'm going to move my arm out of the way. Lift your left leg up, or maybe you start with the right leg, and point your toes up towards the ceiling so you can pull that knee right in towards that shoulder. And from here we're going to extend out through the knee. Bend the knee in, drive the knee out. To really working into that single leg air squat movement. This is really going to work into that hip joint as well because we're rotated out, so we create a 90-degree angle between the inside of both thighs. That's really going to allow you to lift that knee up towards that shoulder. So really contracting into that hip flexor muscle, lengthening all the way out. Working through the hamstring and the quad a little bit. Nice, your work, everyone. We're just going to go 5 more repetitions. So we'll go for 5. Trying to keep that rib cage nice and elevated for 4. 4, 3. 4, 2. And 4, 1. Nice, bend the leg in. Bring the thighs together just to relax the hips a little bit. Feel free to give it a little bit of a massage if you feel like you need to. Because from here you're going to extend that leg straight back out in front of you and you're going to pitch it forward slightly so your foot is kind of running in line with that knee that is resting. Again, nice and strong through that forearm, rib cage nice and elevated. You might want to use your spare hand to help you hold that position. But from here we're just going to go into a straight leg hip and glute lift. So just find that range again that works for you. Just lifting that leg straight up. So we're really working primarily into the glute minimus here that runs around the base of the back and into the side of the pelvis. You are getting some support from the hip flexor and the glute maximus as well. So you might start to feel this a little bit. If you need to rotate that foot out so your foot comes up to 45-degree angles, feel free to do so. That's just going to work the hamstring that little bit more, but taking the pressure away from the hip a little bit. We're just going to go 3 more. 4, 3. 4, 2. And 4, 1. Lovely stuff. Bend the leg in, release the hips. And obviously if you need to take a little moment off that forearm, no problem at all, because we've got 2 more sequences, 2 more stages to this sequence. And then we've got to balance it all out and do the same on the other side. So we're going to elevate ourselves back up onto the forearm. If we were taking that little moment from here, we're going to go into a leg swing. So again, keeping that rib cage nice and elevated. We're going to straighten the leg out. From here, you just That's me, sorry, I apologise. You might have noticed I'm a little bit hoarse in the voice today as well. So we're going to elevate that leg. We're going to swing the leg out and then squeeze it all the way back. Swing the leg out and then squeeze it all the way back. And as you squeeze it back, try and allow that heel to break that hip line. So you're really starting to squeeze into your glute maximus here, so the larger muscle group within that glute collection of muscles. We're just going to go for 3 more. Squeeze for 3. We swing it out, putting a lot of work through the hip flexor today as well. For 2. And for 1. Lovely stuff, everyone. Nice. And again, if you need to come off the side, maybe you need to sit up a little bit, do a little bit of movement, give the legs a little bit of a shake, even stand up, give the hips a little bit of a rotation. Here again, I'm asking quite a lot of your hips this morning. Like I said, mobility and sweat. A lot of that mobility is going to be coming through the hips. So we're going to lie ourselves back down. Last stage of this sequence. So we're going to take the first movement and the last movement and combine them together. So we're going to open up the hips 90 degrees, bend the knee in. I'm going to move my arm out the way so you can see. We extend out through the knee. We swing the leg out and we squeeze it back. We bend the knee up. We extend the knee out. We swing the leg out and we squeeze it back. Nice, so really working through those 2 movement patterns, that bent knee movement, that straight leg movement, which really means you have to roll through that hip joint again. We're going to swing it out, squeeze it back. Nice, we're just going to go for 3 more. We bend the knee in, drive the knee out, swing the leg out, squeeze it back. That's 2. Bend the knee in, drive the knee out, swing the leg out, squeeze it back. Last 1. Bend the knee in, drive the knee out, swing the leg out, squeeze it back, and rest. Lovely stuff. Nice. Take a little moment, take a little bit of water on board, as we got to balance it all out and do the same on the other side. So we're just going to go into a little bit of a static butterfly stretch from here, just so we can just really open up through the hips again, especially into that left hip that we've just been working. You can straighten the right leg out, bring that left leg over, take the forearm onto the back of that left or the outside of that knee and just squeeze and rotate that little bit. So again, just really opening up through that hip. Because from here, I'm going to take it down to the other side. So this time, that left leg, unless you started the other way around, that working leg from that last set is going to become that resting leg. We're going to come onto the forearm. And from here, we take it back into that first movement. So into that single leg press. So we bring the thighs together. We open up to 90 degrees. We bring that knee up towards that right shoulder or possibly the left shoulder, depending on what side you started with. Toes pointing up towards the ceiling. And from here, we're just going to go into that single leg press. So bend the knee in, drive the knee out. And if you're getting a few pops and clicks through the hips here, that's no problem at all. And again, it's not unusual for most people to get that. There's a lot going on through the hips and the pelvis. When it comes to muscle connection, the ligaments, the tendons, there's a lot of nerves that run in and around. There's a lot of sensory overload ultimately internally for the body and the hips. We're going to go 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 2, and 4, 1. Nice, rest those thighs together for a little moment, because we're going to take it into stage 2. So stage 2 is that straight leg lift. So working primarily into that glute minimus. So again, we straighten the leg out. We pitch it forward slightly so it's running, center of the foot is running over the center of that knee line. Really press into that forearm, keep the rib cage nice and elevated. And we just take it into that single leg lift. And again, primarily working into that glute minimus here that runs around the base of the back and into the side of the pelvis. But working through the hip flexor, getting a little bit of support from the glute as well. We're just going to go 4, 5, 4, 4, 3, 4, 2, and 4, 1. Nice, bend the knee in. Give it a little rest again. If you need to sit up and move around or just come out of that working position for a moment, just to release a little bit of tension from the hips before we take it into our leg swing. So 2 more stages here within this hip and glute sequence. So that next one, as we go, bring it back down, keep that rib cage nice and elevated, hips nice and stacked. We're going to go into that leg swing. So we're going to elevate that leg so it comes level with the hip line. That's where you want to be working from, so it glides out over the top of that resting leg. And then we squeeze it back, allowing that heel to break that hip line. So again, really squeezing and working into that glute maximus, that larger muscle group. A lot of work going through the hip flexor again here and through that hip joint. Again, you should be feeling quite warm now, starting to sweat quite a bit. Yeah, and squeeze it back, really getting into some of the finer details in today's session. For 5, 4, 4. Yeah, nice, good control, everyone. 4, 3, 4, 2, and 4, 1. Lovely stuff. Very nice. Take a little moment. And again, if you need to just sit up a little bit, give the leg a little bit of a shake. Do whatever feels natural for you. You can take the legs out in front of you, bring the knees up. Last movement of this sequence. So we're going to carefully lower ourselves back down and take a little bit of water on board if you wish to. We can have a few more moments, no problem at all. So from here, last movement, and we take that first movement and that last movement, combine them together. So that single leg press into that leg swing. So hips are stacked, lift that rib cage, really pressing into that forearm. Thighs come together. We open up 90 degrees. We lift that knee up in towards that shoulder. We drive the knee out. We swing the leg out and we squeeze it back. We bend the knee in, drive the knee out, swing the leg out, squeeze it back again, allowing that heel to break that hip line. So really working into the quads, the hamstring, the hip flexor, the glute minimus, the glute maximus here. Again, working through that hip joint mobility. There's a lot going on through these 2 movements. We're going to go 4, 5. Nice, strong work, everyone. 4, 4. Yeah, really trying to point the toes as much as you can. 4, 3. Nice, good control. 4, 2. Nice, last one. Bend the knee in, drive the knee out, swing the leg out, squeeze it back, and rest. Nice work, everyone. So you should be feeling that into those glutes and the hips now. Whew, take a little moment. So what we are going to do from here is I'm going to get into the core a little bit, just so we can leave the hips alone, but the core, again, the stronger we can make that core, the more mobile we are through the hips and through the spine. So we're just going to go into 2 movements here before we take it back into some a bit more mobility focused. It's going to really get that sweat going as well. So from here, what we are going to do is we are going to go into a U-shaped pull down. So the arm's going to come straight up to 90, straight overhead. And from here, you're going to lift the legs straight up to 90 as well. So ultimately, I'm creating like a sharp U shape with my whole body. From here, as I lower the hands down by the side of my hips, I'm going to lower the legs down at the same time. Find a range that works for you. Lift it up through the arms and the legs. Lower it back down through the arms and the legs. If you want to lift the chin into the chest as you come into that nice long pencil position, feel free to do so. And again, you're really going to feel this into the hips as well as your core. If you need to rest the heels on the ground for a moment at the base of that movement, feel free to do so. Or maybe you just want to lower the arms and the legs halfway and then lift it back up. You might need to bring a bend into the knees maybe, and instead, as you lower the arms down, Extend the legs out from there instead. So that's going to take a little bit of the pressure off the hips. So I'm going to give you those few variations. Again, I'm asking a lot here, so if that feels a bit too much, take it to alternate legs. So we extend one leg out, we pull it back up. On that next repetition, we extend the other leg out, pull it back up. Nice, we're just going to go for 2 more. So I'm going to come all the way back up into this position, but feel free to work through those, any of those range of movements for 2. Last one, I'll do the last one, legs bent, and we'll extend it out. And pull the knees in and give yourself a squeeze. So we go, open up into that lower back. Again, you're really working into those abdominal muscles there, the stomach wall, but it is going to put pressure and workload through that lower back. An area that you can really develop strength in by doing core movements. And we're just going to take a little moment, because from here we're going to take it into a full body crunch. So the legs are going to come straight out in front of us again. Arms are going to come back behind you, and if you're still feeling any little bit of tension on the base of your lower back after that last movement, what I want you to do from here for a moment is just think about pull the belly button in to pull it back down as you lay down towards your spine, and then think about lifting and zipping it up towards your diaphragm. So you're really expanding through the base of your core here. That's really going to engage into your transverse abdominals. Not everything to get engagement into the core is about contraction. It's actually more about opening things up to get a deeper contraction. From there, squeeze the glutes together as the belly button is pulled in and zipped up, and you're going to feel like a nice contraction. And funny enough, if you have any tension around this area, you're just going to feel everything release. So from here, we'll set ourselves again. Arms are going to come back behind the head. Legs are straight out in front of us, full body crunch. So this time as the arms come in, we're going to pull the knees in as well, lift the chin into the chest, and then lengthen it all the way back out. We pull in through the arms and the knees. We lengthen out through the arms and the knees. Nice and steady, nice and controlled. Again, deciding what range you want to work with the legs here. If you extend them all the way out and lower them straight down towards the floor, that is going to give you more deep core activation. So you might just need to find that little range, maybe lift the legs that little bit higher. Or again, you can take it to alternate legs with this one. So extend one leg out, pull it all the way in. Next repetition, extend the other leg out, pull it all the way back in. We're just going to go 4 more. I'm going to stick with this one extension for 4. Nice, strong work everyone. 4, 3, 4, 2, last one, and 4. Oh, nice again. Hold those knees in. That's going to squeeze that last little bit of contraction into the core and those abdominal muscles, but it's also going to open up the lower back, and carefully sit yourself all the way back up. Take a little bit of water or more if you wish to. A few more minutes to go. So from here, we're going to bring it back onto the knees. What I'm going to do, turn myself sideways with this one. So you can go flat-footed with this one, or you can tuck the toes up and underneath. So what we're going to do is you're going to sit back onto the heels. And again, if you tuck the toes under, that's going to give you a lot more elevation, so the hips aren't going to be as low, so it's going to release a little bit of the tension. So from here, all we're going to do, palms are going to face up, you're going to tuck the elbows back nice and deep. We're going to basically go into a move called the offering. So as you drive the arms out, all I want you to do is lift up through the knees and squeeze into the glutes. We lower it all the way back down. We drive the arms forward, lift up through the knees, lifting the hips and squeezing into the glutes. And nice, just find a rhythm, find a tempo that works for you. And if working with the arms feels a little bit too much, feel free to just keep them on the hips and just focus on that hip drive and squeeze into the glutes. You can put a rotation through the arms if you feel more comfortable doing that. We're just going to go 4, 5, 4, 4, making sure we're squeezing into the glutes at the top end. 4, 3, 4, 2, and 4, 1. Lovely stuff. Nice. Take a little moment I'm going to rotate myself around this side. We're going to do similar movement, but different with the arms this time. So we sit back onto the heels. You can extend the feet all the way out flat, or again, you can tuck the toes under so you get that little bit higher elevation through the hips. But ultimately this time, arms are going to come out in front of us. We're going to open them up nice and wide. As we elevate onto the hips this time, we're going to bring the hands central. As we lower it back, we're going to open it out, really open up through the torso, across the shoulders, really trying to squeeze those shoulder blades together. Nice, so we're working through the hips, the hamstrings and the glutes here, but just starting to really get a little bit of activation through the shoulders to really squeeze the shoulder blades together. So we get a bit of activation into your rear delts, your scapula, your rhomboids, a little bit of the top of the lats, a little bit of the traps, a lot going on back there. Arms out nice and wide, so the side delts are engaged through the shoulders. And as we elevate the arms forward, the front delts come engaged as well. We're just going to go 4 more of these. 4, 4, squeezing into the glutes at the top end. 4, 3, 4, 2, and 4, 1. Lovely stuff, everyone. Nice. Feel free to carefully bring it back to the ground. Give the ankles a little bit of a rotation. Roll everything around a little bit. We're doing a lot of groundwork today. Take a little bit of water on board if you wish to, as we move in towards our last movements. So just in case you haven't got enough of a sweat on through a lot of that mobility workout we've done today, we're going to take it in some bear crawls to really increase that heart rate and get that final little bit of sweat on. So I'm going to bring to the end of the mat. Bear crawls, we've done these before. So we take the hands down, we walk it out. From there, you're going to add a press if you wish to. Walk it back in, and as you walk it back in, really sink the hips back over the heels, allowing you to elevate nice and smoothly, taking the pressure away from the lower back. Nice, so we walk the hands out, add the press in if you wish to. And again, as you start to walk back into that start position, really bending through the knees, sink the hips back over the heels, elevate up. Nice, still with me, let's keep it going. We press if we wish, walk it back in. We're gonna go 4 more. We're down, out, press if you wish, in and up. Nice, 3 more. Down, out, press, back in and up. Nice, 2 more. Find a rhythm, find a tempo that works for you. I'm taking these pretty quick here just to really increase that heart rate and get that last little bit of sweat going. We're down for that last one. You take it out, we press if we wish to, walk it back in and elevate ourselves up. Lovely, so nice. Oh, that'll get the heart rate going. Nice little push. So we're going to take a little moment and then we're going to go into some cat crawls to finish off. So similar to the bear crawl, but we stay nice and low on the ground this time. We elevate that stance. We eliminate that stance, sorry. So with the cat crawl, at the end, down to the ground. So we come down onto the tiptoes, flare the knees out, 45-degree angles. Same as the bear crawl, but we just bring it back into this position. So when we're set and ready, we're going to walk it all the way out. Press if you wish to, walk it back in. We walk it all the way out. Press if we wish to, walk it back in. Nice, we're going to go 6 more. That's where we're at. Last 6, we go for 6. Find a rhythm, find a tempo that works for you. Don't worry if you can't move at the same rate that I'm going at, or if you want to take it quicker, feel free to take it quicker. Nice, good, last little push. We got 3 more. So we walk it out, press if you wish to, walk it back in. Nice, last 2. We walk it out, press if you wish to, walk it back in. Last one. We walk it out, press if you wish to, and walk it back here. Whew. I apologise. I'm surprised I managed to last right until the end of the session to do that first cough. Take a little bit of water on board if you wish to, everybody. Nice, really strong work today, everyone. a lot of mobility. Hopefully got a little bit of a sweat on as well. I know I am. I apologise about the slight hoarseness from myself today. Back end summer. Cold apparently. Excellent work everyone today. Fantastic. Thank you very much for all your time, your effort and your energy. I'm Jamie from Coaches for Change, delivering for Westside Bid. Appreciate your time. We'll see you soon. Like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Catch you later.